In this video, I'm going to talk about Replit, which is a free online IDE, integrated development environment, which means it has a compiler and it has an editor. It allows you to run programs, and you'll see that it can be used with over 50 languages, but we'll be using it for C++. So the first thing that you want to do is just make sure that you have an account, because that will save all of your information. And if you don't have an account and you want to go back, your information won't be there. So you can either log in or sign up. And when you choose sign up, you can see that you can create an account, or you could just use your Google account if you'd like. If you want to do that, that's kind of up to you, or if you have a Facebook account. So you just want to make sure that you create an account or use your Google account first. Okay, so I should have said first that you just want to go to replit.com. You can see the spelling over here, replit.com. All right, so next time, after you're in, when you log in, you can either enter your information or you can continue with Google, which is what I'm going to do. Okay, so this is what the environment looks like initially, and there is some information here on paying per month, but you really can just do this for free. So you want to make sure that you're choosing C++. Okay, when you get to the point where you're creating a REPL. So I'm just going to come over here. I'm going to choose new REPL. I'm going to choose C++, and I'm just going to put in sample. That's going to be the name of it, and I'm going to create it. So what you'll see that happens is up here, right? That's just my username. The name of the Replit is sample. It contains a file called main.cpp. The CPP extension means it's going to be C++ source code. It creates a little shell of the file over here, and this is your output window. So I'm going to just talk about creating a really simple C++ program. When it creates this, and you don't want to change this name, that's important. It looks for a file called main.cpp, so make sure that you leave that the same. We are going to make a couple of changes to this initial file. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in using namespace standard. Okay. And when you do that, you don't have to put std : in front of all of your code. It just means that we're going to use the information from the standard namespace throughout our program, and it just makes the code a little easier to read, and it follows along with what is done in our textbook. So here's a simple C++ program that just displays hello world to the screen, and you can just come up here and you can click the run button, and over here on the screen you'll see hello world, and that's basically as easy as it is. I'm going to show you that there's some options also. So I'm just going to click back to this next level, and maybe not, I think I deleted all of mine to get started. Okay, sorry. All right, so come over here. You don't have to worry about version control or the debugger yet, the environmental variables, but you can go into settings if you want. And I just want to explain some of the settings. You can set it up how you like. So side by side just means your source code here, your output here. You could make it stacked so your output comes down on the bottom. That's just kind of personal preference. You also can select this, and when you get the double-headed arrow, you could make your output window a little smaller, give you a little more space to type your code. I prefer to use the light theme. I know many students prefer the dark theme. So you can choose what you want. The font size, I think normal looks like that. So I like to use large, especially because I'm making videos. It's easier for you guys to see. The indent is just spaces. I think it's set to 2 spaces, so you'll see the code that's indented has 2 spaces. You don't have to worry too much about. You do want to have your code intelligence enabled. That's the default. But what happens when that the code intelligence is enabled is if you forget something, you'll get like a little red squiggly line here. And it can give you a little message when you roll over it, you know, telling you what the problem is. Right, terminating. It was pretty quick, but it said missing terminating, double quote, or like if you do this, you know, semicolon after expression. So having that on kind of helps you as you're going along. Also, you can see that like keywords and reserved words are highlighted in blue. This just kind of helps us as we're entering our program. Okay. Sometimes Replit will put the opening curly brace right here after main. Sometimes you'll see examples like this where the opening curly brace is here, and that's kind of personal preference. They both work, so just so that you are aware of that. Okay, I'm going to come back here to my files, and we don't have to worry about unit test yet. Okay, you'll often see code, and I know in our textbook, you know, it says like return 0 at the end here. That's very common when you're returning 0. It tells it, this says that you're returning an integer. It works without it, but if you wonder why you see it sometimes but you don't see it in Replit, that is the reason why. This is the output window, and I know it's not exciting, right? It's just a console window where everything's going out to, but remember, we're trying to teach you about programming and programming logic in this course. We offer other courses where you do more event-driven programming and where the interfaces look a whole lot nicer, but this is what we're getting with our introductory programming. And this is just Linux over here, if anybody knows how to use it, where you could actually enter commands. You don't have to do this, but I'm just letting people know, like clear is a command that clears that screen. Oops, why that changed. Okay. You know, that's just for anybody that knows about that, but it's not important that you do. Okay. You see the 3 dots over here. When we do this, we can download our file. Right, and you see, I've got a few of these in my download folder, but let me just, that's why I have a 4 after it. When you show this in the folder, right, you'll see it right here. And the CPP file is what you're going to have to submit to me for your project. So you have to be able to download, you have to be able to find it, and then you'll have to be able to upload that in Blackboard. Okay, over here on the left-hand side where we have, this is like the main menu, and you'll see some options here, how to get back to this home page. But once you start to create more than one, you'll have this My REPLs, right? And this is the one I created called Sample, right? So as you create more and more of these, you'll see them out here. So you want to try and give them some meaningful names. So when I open that back up, this information comes back. So the REPL itself is called Sample, and in it is a source file called main.cpp. And that's really as easy as it is to use this compiler.